Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Fulfillment Podcast, where we help discover a better you by finding fulfillment in life, relationships, and finance. In this episode, we're going to dive right into what it means to have high vibrational energy and low vibrational energy, and how to surround yourself with the right type of people. Because we all know that we have both types of people in our lives. And the trick is to find out and recognize who's got low vibe and who's got high vibe energy, and surround yourself with the people that have high vibrational energy, because you don't want to live your life constantly being negative, constantly being a bummer to everybody you're around. You want to be positive yourself. You want to grow. You want to continue to improve yourself. So you want to take responsibility for your actions, and you want to surround yourself with people that have higher goals and higher aspirations, right? Find yourself what it is you want to do. Find that point A on the wall that you always think about every time. Find the point A, find the point B. How are you going to get to point B? And surround yourself with the people that you see in that visualization at point B, because those people have the energy that you need to get yourself there. So we're going to dive right into all those things. We're going to answer all the questions you guys have been asking about how to deal with friends and family members that have low vibrational energy. What do you do about it, and how do you deal with those people really ultimately long term? And if you can't, right, then how do you deal with internally you're accepting? If you have to separate for yourself from them, how do you deal with accepting that? So don't worry about it. We're going to answer all those questions. This is a really great episode. It's not super long, so don't worry about that. But we're going to get into all this stuff. I think we're going to answer a lot of stuff. We had a really, really good content here. So look forward to talking with you guys, and let's dive right into the episode. All right. So diving right into the negative and positive energy that people can bring to situations, to life, to relationships, to everything and anything that happens. You really got to think about the kind of people that you surround yourself with, right? And that's really where this whole episode is going to stem from, is the people you surround yourself with and the relationships you build in your life should be relative and relevant to what it is that you're trying to portray and what you're trying to do. So wherever you're trying to go, whatever that point B, I always talk about the point B, right? Because you're always trying to set a goal of where you're trying to go. And if you can't get there, then there's something that's getting in the way, right? There's resistance got to be removed, or whatever it is. Between the A and the B points, there's something that you got to do to get yourself there. And typically what it is you're not surrounding yourself with a positive energy. You're keeping around negativity. You're not removing the resistance that you need to. And there's a lot of other side factors of maybe not having a clear goal, or not really working on your purpose instead of working on someone else's, that can really come into play when you're trying to achieve those different things. So one of the biggest things, and this is something that's been coming up and something a lot of people wanted to talk about, was, Josh, what does it look like to have positive and negative energy? What do you mean when you say energy can influence my life, and all that different stuff can have a major effect on the way that like I grow, right? Because this is me. I want to make sure that I can control myself. I don't want other people to influence me. Well, let's talk about that, and let's dive into it a little bit deeper. We're going to go through some concepts and some points in this book called Declare War on Yourself. If you haven't read it, it's a good book. It's kind of almost just like getting yelled at. If you listen to the Audible version, it's almost like you're kind of like smoking yourself during the book, right? The way the author kind of reads it to you, and the way the content's kind of portrayed, and the way everything goes across in the book. It's almost like you're just scolding yourself the whole time. But it's really, really, really good. It is, and it's a book that's designed around the premise of you have to be able to identify the things that are in your life, take responsibility for them, and then take action on them, right? And if you don't do that, then you'll never be happy, right? I always talk about being genuinely happy and having the genuine piece of happiness present in your life. And if you're not going to be genuinely happy, then you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. You can probably just skip this episode and go straight to another one. But if you do want to find genuine happiness, and you do genuinely want to find something that's real again, then you have to listen to this episode, listen to the points that I make into it, or make throughout it, and listen to, if you want to, the book. Buy the book or listen to the book on Audible, but get into the book and read through a lot of the different points they talk about, because a lot of it's going to be based on energy and the energy focus that you surround yourself with in life. If you think about, and we'll start kind of like from the grassroots point of things, if you think about the perspective of two different people, right? So you could spend the rest of your life with two different people in your life. You can spend your life with somebody that maybe they haven't graduated to high school. We're not saying they have to go to college or anything, but maybe they haven't graduated to high school. They've kind of been a bummer their whole life. They take the perspective almost as the innocent prisoner. If you read a book called Unlock It by Dan Locke, it's one of the recent books that I've been kind of reading lately. And he talks about the perspective of the innocent prisoner. And in the innocent prisoner, what it is nothing's ever the prisoner's fault, right? It's always somebody else. It's always bad circumstances or bad lawyers or bad timing or whatever. Something else is the cause of all the misfortune and stuff that's going on in their life. So you could surround yourself with somebody that's like that, right? That has the mindset of everything's a misfortune, everything's bad. I'm just no good at this, whatever, and, yada, 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 and I'm just never going to be good at it, right? You could surround yourself with that person the rest of your life. Or there's the other person, and this is the person, we'll call them person A and person B. So that's person A. Person B, let's say person B is of the mindset where I'm in control. I'm grateful for everything that's happened to me. I'm grateful for all the opportunities. I'm grateful for the things that have been put out for me. I'm grateful for the people that have come into my life. I'm grateful for, the misfortunes, because through the misfortunes, I've also come out even better than I was before, and I've learned so much stuff. So there's that perspective, right? And they're always grateful for everything. They feel like they're in charge and in control. They're going to make their life better. They're maybe today they own a few different businesses. They're a founder of a few different businesses, they split partnership or whatever, but they founded a few different companies. They're maybe a multi-millionaire. They're growing and they're pursuing their happiness in life. They have time to spend it with their family and their kids. They grow up and live within their family and find ultimate fulfillment in their life, right? Now let's take those two perspectives, person A and person B. Who would you rather spend more time with? It probably seems like a no-brainer, right? You'd probably be like, Josh, no shit. Duh, person B, who the hell would want to spend time with person A? Well, let's think of this, right? Have you ever found yourself surrounded by somebody like person A? Have you ever found yourself spending time or effort or energy on somebody like person A? Have you ever found yourself being person A? Because if you have, then that's 99% of the people that are in America, or just across the world. Doesn't even have to be America. If you find yourself that person or surrounded by those people, then there's a lot of things that you can do to change it. And one of the biggest things is just stop surrounding yourself with those people, right? There's a lot of things going on without getting into politics or anything. There's a lot of things that's going on today in the world that is a lot of victim mindset, right? It's always, I'm no good at something. I can't do something. I deserve something, right? A lot of that entitlement too is another part of the victim mindset. It's everything is out of my control. It's somebody else's fault. Somebody else has more privilege or more awareness than I do or whatever. And until that changes, I'll never be able to do better. So there's that mindset that a lot of people have today. And the problem is because by encouraging that mindset, by saying, yes, you're right, it's not your fault, it's somebody else's fault, it's not your problem, it's somebody else's problem that needs to change. What happens is when you surround yourself with that mindset and that concept is you remove the ability for that person to make changes to their own life, right? You think about it, you're saying, hey, it's somebody else's fault, it's not yours, there's nothing you could have done. Okay, cool. Well, guess what? Now, if there's nothing I could have done, there's nothing I can do to improve. I'm going to find myself in that situation again, and I'm never going to do anything different to be able to change it. And you don't want that in life. No successful business owner or entrepreneur has ever had that. Well, they might have had that, but they didn't get that. They didn't have that concept, right? By becoming successful, they didn't have that thought process in their head. They had instead the process of, hey, thank you so much for that opportunity, for that lesson that I learned, right? Thank you so much for that, because from that, I've learned how to make changes and what I need to do a little bit differently, because I'm going to control this and I'm going to make sure that next time this happens, I'm going to be in control and it's not going to turn out that same way. And you want to make sure you're around the people that think that way, right? If you're trying to grow and you're trying to become better, which everybody should be, you should always be trying to improve yourself, especially in relationships and in jobs and in experiences and in, just in life and in personal goals. You should always be trying to do that. You never take the victim mindset. Never. It's not a good idea. If you find yourself in the victim mindset, typically it happens if you listen to a lot of news, you surround yourself with a lot of negative people, a lot of negative energies in your life, you'll find yourself in the victim mindset. In order to get out of the victim mindset, find something that you're grateful for. I tell myself, find 3 things that I'm super grateful for that have happened to me, usually within the last 24 hours. It's pretty easy to find something that has happened to you in the last 24 hours that you can be grateful for, right? So I always tell myself, find 3 things in the last 24 hours that I've been grateful for. And by doing that, I can shift myself out of the victim mindset and more into the gratitude mindset. Now, with that being said, you might be asking a little bit, and this is the question that I've gotten a few times, is, okay, so the person who's got the victim mindset or that negative energy, right? It's the person that has the negative energy is bringing the negative energy in. is somebody that I'm pretty close with. It could be a spouse, it could be a significant other, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be somebody that you just totally cut out of your life or want to cut out of your life, but they've got a lot of negative energy that they're bringing to the relationship, to the interactions between you and them. And it's kind of interesting, right? Because when I've talked about this, it's a lot of times it's between friends, right? One friend is just a real negative person, gets super fed up really quick, has a really short temper, really low self-esteem, maybe has a super fragile ego. Those are all signs of low energy or low and less positive energy, right? We'll call it low vibration. That's really what it is, right? It's low vibrational energy is what those people have. They don't have high vibrational energy, it's low vibrational energy. So the people that have that low vibrational energy typically think that way, and they bring that to whoever they're discussing themselves with. Now, going back to the two different type of people, A and B, who do you want to surround yourself with if you want to become a high vibrational person, or a successful person, or a goal-driven, goal-oriented person, or a positive person? You probably want to be around the person B, right? The person that's got that high vibrational energy, that brings a lot to the relationship, that pushes you and helps you grow to become a better person. That's who you're going around to surround yourself with. So let's take that same concept, right? Because really what we're saying, if you have to hang out with two people, who are you going to hang out with? You're probably going to hang out with the person that's got a higher vibe, not the person with the low vibe. So now let's take that same black and white concept and bring it into the friendship, or bring it into the family, or bring it into the relationship, or whatever it is you have, and use it the same way, right? It's simple to understand what you need to do or what you should do. It's difficult to execute because we're attached to low vibrational things, or we're attached to different things because we have that attachment to outcome. And you have to get rid of the attachment to outcome, because things don't have to be the way you want them to be. In order for you to be a high vibrational person, right, you may think you're going to do it with the same lifestyle you have right now. Guess what? That's not the case. The people that get to be the 1% do something different than the 99%. I can tell you 99% of people right now in the world are people that are hanging out with everybody that they knew from high school or have known for the whole life. They're not making difficult decisions. They're not pushing necessary people out of their life. They're not doing the difficult things. If you want to become somebody that's at the 1%, that's finding the 1% of fulfillment in life, then you have to do something different than the 99%. You have to let go of those negative energy vibes that are being brought into your life. And it's tough, right? It's a tough thing to think about when you're like, how the heck do I just get rid of my family? Or how do I get rid of a friend? Well, you don't have to get rid of them, right? But maybe you stop spending time with them, right? If you stop spending time with somebody, you're going to be surrounding yourself with positive things. If you stop spending time watching the news and watching the media and all the negative energy, then you're going to find yourself around more positive energy. And by you influencing and having positive energy, you can then influence other people to have positive energy. And those with negative energy sometimes need to be forced to understand that they have the negative energy, and they have to be able to control that before they make a change. And that's not going to happen by you continuing to be somebody that helps support their negative vibrations. Think of it like this. You got two cups, right? You got one that's half full and one that's all the way full. Now, what happens when you pour water into either cup? If you pour water into the half-empty cup, right, it fills up. Or it starts to fill up. It gets closer to filling up. If you pour water into the already full cup, what happens? It overflows, right? The water starts pouring over. Well, let's think of the same thing when we start talking about people with energy, people with vibrations, and people with, we'll say, love in a relationship, right? If two people come to a relationship, one has a cup half full and one has their cup all the way full. When you start pouring water into each one, right? We'll call the water the emotions of the relationship and the love, right? Well, what happens is when love starts getting poured between the two people, the one with the cup full can give their love to somebody else, right? They can give their energy and their emotions and their caring and kindness and all that stuff to somebody else because they're already full. But the person without their cup full won't be able to do that. What's going to happen is instead they're going to be giving, the person that has their cup full is going to give their love and their energy and their emotion to the person with their cup half full, and all they're going to do is start helping to try and fill up the other person's cup. But the person can't fill up. The thing is you can't fill up someone else's cup. Only they can do that. Only they can do it with the tap that's overhead. Because if you try and give your love to them, it's just going to fall on the floor. Just imagine the cups are separated. You can only do it with the tap that's on top. So in order to do that, they have to do that themselves, and they have to come to the realization to do that. I talk about this all the time. I had a time where I was in a relationship and I was not completely who I was. It was the same exact scenario that I just talked about, right? I met a girl who had her cup all the way full, and I did not. I did not have my cup full. I was just fresh out of a divorce and dealing with a lot of pain and emotion and all that kind of stuff. So I was dealing with a lot of things. Well, when we would come together, I felt whole, right? I felt like we were together, like it was the right person, the right place, the right time, because she was giving me her love. The problem was I didn't have my cup all the way full to be able to give the same thing back to her. And it left her kind of being like, this isn't exactly what I need. This isn't what I need. I need someone that can challenge me, that can help me grow, that's confident in themselves, that can give the emotion and the love and the relationship a little bit extra and that more to help it grow. I couldn't do that because I didn't have my tap completely turned on to the point where I was fill myself. And in order to do that, I was never going to do that. I was never going to turn my tap on to fill my cup until I left the relationship and she stopped giving me the love and we separated. And then I got to the point where I could then focus on myself and learn how to fill my own cup on my own. So it's very, very interesting because that same example portrays across into a lot of different things. Friendships are one thing. Family relationships are another thing. Even emotional relationships, the same scenario, right? It plays into the same thing. So when you think about that, right? If you're around somebody or there's somebody you're a friend with, but they've constantly got this like negative vibe to them. They're always the victim. Everything's wrong. They suck and this and that and yama and whatever, right? Stop spending time with that person. Cut them off. Slowly start pushing them out of your life because you don't need that, right? You have high vibration and you need to bring that high vibration to somebody that understands it. They're not at a point, unfortunately, to where they understand it. They're not going to get to the point where they understand it until they learn that they desire that themselves. And sometimes there's people, and it's crazy, right? Because it's hard for us to think about this with a friend or a family member or someone we love, but some people don't ever understand it. And it sucks, and it's super, super painful. But that doesn't have to be you. That doesn't have to be you. You're here listening to this podcast because you want to grow and you want to develop and you want to find that genuine happiness. Some people don't want to find that genuine happiness because you know what? Finding that genuine happiness means that you've got to go through some shit yourself before you can dig yourself out of the damn hole, dust yourself off, wash yourself off, and become the best version of who you are to get to that point. And you're never going to get there until you go through some shit. And it sucks. It is the worst kind of pain and emotional distraughtness that you could ever come across. Trust me, gone through it a few times, right? But it's totally okay because it's only going to get you to where you need to be, to where you want to be. And it's so crazy because, people always say God has a plan, right? Well, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, right? It knows what it's doing. And you're never going to grow until you force yourself to deal with the pain of the things that are holding you back, right? Think of it like this. If you leave the keys in your car, right, and your car gets stolen, learn from it. Don't leave the damn keys in your car next time. Don't take the victim mindset of he did something to me or this person did something to me, yada, yada, that's not my fault. No, don't leave your fucking keys in your car. I'll give you an example. Small tangent, but I was looking for a reason to pretty much upgrade the computer I was using, right? I've been using a smaller computer, and I needed something with a little bit more RAM, a little bit more processing power, and a lot more memory and stuff to process a lot of the things that I'm doing with YouTube and podcasting and everything else on social media, right? So I was looking for an excuse. Well, sure shit, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take action. I'm going to visualize, right? I want to have a better computer, so I'm going to visualize it, and I'm going to take action. Well, dummy me. I was hit up by somebody who offered me full price, right? Full price plus, a little extra on top for shipping. And they're like, hey, overnight this to me. It's my daughter's birthday or whatever. Well, sure shit. I did everything that I was supposed to. Went and bought the new computer, shipped the old one, transferred all the memory and everything, and then shipped the old one out. Well, there were a few signs that they didn't send the money and everything beforehand. And I thought it was just, you got to ship it and get them like confirmation code and everything beforehand. But Nope, that wasn't it. I ended up getting scammed, right? Got scammed out of the computer. Well, it's kind of funny because I spent all of maybe 3 hours kind of pissed about it. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I got a new computer. I'm going to keep driving on. I'm going to make this work. Whatever. That person's going to be a scumbag. It'll come back and hit them. Sure, whatever. I'm going to make this work. I got a better computer. I can do all the things I need to do now. I'm going to explode. So I spent all about 3 hours on that in this like brief victim mindset of son of a bitch, you motherfucker. Like just all the 4-letter words you could think of, right? I was pretty pissed. But after that, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to make this work. And I did. And I haven't even, until now, right? I haven't really even thought about it. It's just a blip on the radar of something that happened. And I kind of just briefly forgot about it. Don't blame it on someone else. The victim mindset, right? I'm like, dummy me. Well, not going to make that decision again. But I'm better off now because of it, because now I got a new computer. I can do all the things that I need to do and everything's in one place. So you messed up, got it. Just don't do the mistake again. And that's one way to shift yourself out of being a victim to being grateful, right? Find yourself in the gratitude mindset. Take ownership of your problems so you can solve them. Don't let your pride and your ego prevent you from improving. I should almost talk about that. The ego is a very, very difficult thing. And I think I have actually an episode scheduled about the ego, talking about a fragile versus a strong ego. And a lot of times a strong ego is kind of correlated to cockiness, but it's not. A strong ego, well, actually, let me tell you about it. So a fragile ego is somebody that when you say something to them or you tell them, hey, like, I don't know, you're breathing really loud or you choose your mouth open or, I don't know, you're doing something dumb, right? They take it personally, like very, very, very personally. And they fight back and like defend themselves about it, right? Because they cannot be insulted. They can't, anything that threatens their ego, like destroys them internally. And then there's the person with a strong ego, and the person with a strong ego can take criticism, takes feedback, takes comments and stuff like that as opportunities to grow and recognizing problems and how to fix them, right? Welcomes kind of that stuff. But it's all about developing the ego, and really what that comes down to is being stronger within yourself. So having the positive energy, right? If you want to find yourself as a positive vibrational person, surround yourself with positive vibrational people. Remove yourself from negative vibrational energy. Remove yourself from the resistance that's preventing you from becoming a better version of yourself. Surround yourself with people that are higher vibration, and don't worry about it, right? Don't worry about cutting those people out of your life, because not everybody's meant to be a part of your life forever, right? Some people come in for a minute, help you realize something, and then maybe they leave. Some people do come into your life and they stick with you forever. But if somebody's not on track with you becoming the best version of yourself and they're not going to help you grow to become that, don't worry about cutting them out. It's just it's a part of life, and it's a part of the process. If you don't want to become ultimately fulfilled in your life, you don't want to become that best version, then be attached to the people that are low vibrational and the people that aren't going to help you grow. But if you do want to become the best version of yourself and do want to become fulfilled in your life and you do want to grow like that and you do genuinely want to be there, then don't worry about it. If they're meant to be and they're meant to come back into your life, they will. They'll find out what they need to do to grow. They'll find out what they need to do to change. They'll find out what they need to do to find their vibrational path and put themselves on the best vibrational path and journey that they need to be on. And if those journeys mean that you two meet again, then so be it, right? Then that's awesome. Then you're both the best version of yourselves, and you both can help each other grow. That's with family members. That's with personal relationships. That's with girlfriend boyfriend relationships. That's with love. That's with friendships. That's with whatever, right? If you're both meant to be, then you both being on the right path will mean that you guys come back together again. So don't worry about it. You focus on you and become fulfilled in your own personal life. And then by you doing that, that will translate to the other person, hopefully doing the same thing if they get to the point where they can recognize that. All right, diving back in. Sorry, I got a few quotes that I want to pull out of this book, and I think they're pretty powerful things, but touching on each one of them. So the next one I have is, there's a substantial difference between people who think positively and those who approach everything with negativity. You are a product of your environment. Surround yourself with successful people with a positive, successful mindset. Don't waste your time on those that don't deserve it. And I think that really just sums up everything that we've talked about in this episode. Surround yourself with the right people. Find yourself being a higher vibrational person. Surround yourself with the right things, right, and the right environment, and you'll find yourself as a high vibrational person. So be it news, be it media, social media, other people, family members, friends, right, all those different things, the things you do, find yourself doing more high vibrational activity and surrounding yourself by more high vibrational people and things and stuff, and you'll notice that you start finding yourself in a higher vibrational state, which means you're more fulfilled and you're more on your journey, right? It's all about finding what your journey is and what your purpose is, and sticking on that. And you'll know if you're on your purpose because it feels right. Things just feel right. You feel like you're pursuing the path that you're supposed to be pursuing, right? A lot of times for people, it's reading books, right? Self-help books, educational books, development books. Yoga is a big one, right? Finding meditation and time to be alone and at solitude with themselves so that they can grow within who they are. A lot of people find, entertainment in like being outside and being outdoors and exercising and, different stuff like that. So it's all about what works for you, but you ultimately will know deep within your heart and within your consciousness exactly what it is that works for you best and what it is that puts you in your own personal vibration and raises your vibration. It all starts with visualizing, understand the concept, but then as you go through your journey, remove resistance from what happens to get you to the best vibrational version of who you are. Remove the resistance. It's the third step of manifestation. If you want to get there, remove the resistance to the things that prevent you from getting there. It sucks, but sometimes the best way to do it is you have to take ownership and you have to get yourself out of the victim mindset to the gratitude mindset. And that's not something that you can force upon somebody. They have to understand that for themselves and they have to learn that for themselves. If they want to make the change, then they'll understand it, they'll learn that, and they'll do it. I was in the same place. I was broken up with and I was in an insane, incredible heartbreak. But I was never going to get over it if I continued to sit myself in the victim mindset. And until I shifted and found my purpose and stuck with my purpose, did I ever get out of that point and now get to the point where I can grow and actually become better and become that peak vibrational energy that I need to be with who I am. So let that sink in. Take all the notes that you need on this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is another incredible episode. I love just the feedback and stuff that I've gotten. Really good questions and stuff so far. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and sending us some of the stuff and asking us to make an episode on this. I think vibrational energy is a huge thing. Finding the positive, finding the negative, finding who you're going to surround yourself with is absolutely critical. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to another episode. Again, find us on Instagram at fulfillment_lifestyle. Give me some feedback, shoot me a DM there. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Other than that, rate the podcast on Apple Podcast. Also look at it for us on Podbean as well as Spotify. Please follow, like, subscribe, do whatever you can do to give us some positive feedback, get us out there and get us moving up in a little bit in the ratings. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys in the next episode.